Today, we're finally going to tackle one of the most requested recipes I've ever gotten. So without fail, anytime I make a red sauce, there's one comment, and it's always to make Marcella Hazan's butter tomato onion sauce. It is literally that simple. Here it is right out of her cookbook. You need tomatoes, you need some butter, and you need an onion cut in half. This cookbook of hers is also fantastic. I'm going to link it below. For $22, you learn everything. Here's how to prep the tomatoes. It also walks you through when to use certain types of cheeses, what herbs to use, how to make better fresh pasta. Everything's in here for 22 bucks. So if you like cooking, it's definitely worth it. Diving into the actual recipe, you need tomatoes, Roma tomatoes. So we're going to use San Marzanos. They're a form of Roma tomato. She says you're either going to use 2 pounds of fresh tomatoes or 2 cups of the canned peeled tomatoes. So that's what we have. The peeled tomatoes, she says to roughly chop them. That's what we do. We will smush the rest with our spoon as it cooks. To that, I'm going to add it to my saucier, a little bit of the sauce from in the can. That was about half of that can, which equals 2 cups. And now we're going to chop up a Spanish onion. You could use whatever onion you want. I see most people use Spanish. She does not specify on the recipe, so we just cut it in half, placed it in the sauce. I trimmed off the root ends a little bit as well, and then we added 5 tablespoons of unsalted butter. I'm going to salt this a little bit by hand right now, and we'll adjust that at the end, but bring this to a simmer. The only real instructions are to use the back of that wooden spoon to crush the tomatoes a little bit more, and cook this for 45 minutes at a very low simmer until the fat from the butter starts to kind of rise on the surface. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to keep this very low. I don't want to see more than just a little gurgle like that. That's what we're looking for. That butter's melted. I'm going to give it a little bit of a mix every once in a while, continue to push down those pieces of the tomato bits, but we're just going to let this do its thing. That's as far as I've really let it simmer. I don't want it much hotter than that, but you can see there's a little bit of bubbling coming through, some fat rising. We're just going to let this go low and slow for 45 minutes, and then we'll be ready to put this all together. I've also seen some people in the past videos call this Al Bronzo Barilla pasta garbage. Look at the good quality bronze dye you can see that this is made from. The above pasta is more expensive, a better name brand. I won't trash them, but it looks worse. I have no reason to think it's not bronze cut, so use that pasta. As you can see here, after 45 minutes, that fat has started to rise to the top, so we are now going to cook the pasta. Give this a little bit of a mix. I'm going to cook about 3/4 of a pound of pasta. That's 3 or 4 people's worth. I'm tasting the sauce now. It needs a little more salt. This is a very salt-heavy meal. Red sauces love salt, so you really can't add too much a lot of the time, but taste it to the seasoning you're looking for. And now I'm just going to add it to the pasta. I drained it, didn't do anything else. It's probably about 2 minutes shy of al dente. So we're going to add in that sauce, add a little bit of pasta water, and we're going to mix this together. She does not say to add the pasta water. I did that on my own, so if you need to scold me for that, that's fine, but I'm going to use that entire thing of sauce. She says this should serve 6 to 8 people. That's my only real complaint. I don't think it does. I think you need to double that recipe in the book to cook for 6 or 8 people. I think this comfortably feeds 3. 4 people is a stretch, maybe a very small appetizer size plate of pasta. You know us Americans like to eat. But after 2 or 3 minutes of just mixing that all together, the pasta's evenly coated. And now we're ready to dive in and give this a taste. I'm going to keep the plating very simple. I just added some of that extra sauce over the top, even though it is well coated. A little bit of parm over the top as well, which is in the instructions to have it out on the table for that purpose. I took a little bit of my own decision here and added some olive oil and basil over the top. I think that just goes great with red sauces in general, but let's dive in. It smells fantastic. I think it's going to taste great. The main thing this has going for it is it's very easy. 45 minutes, no real work. You're just kind of simmering things. You don't need to add herbs, bay leaf, oregano, nothing that some people don't like. That being said, the flavor is really good. It's a very good quality red sauce. I think there's other sauces that are better, but this is a fantastic red sauce.